Just imagine all of those piles of papers on your desk are filed electronically and out of your office. That could be a reality with a good plan and a defined process. With today's technology, you can really streamline your accounts payable process and have a really good access to your data when you need it. So we wanted to go through a few steps of what would get you there. So first, you're going to analyze the softwares that are available to you, and most times it's a good idea to hire an expert like Bones Consulting, because we can explain to you what's best suited for your business. So there's many solutions out there. We would choose one that fits both your budget and your growing number of transactions. So many of the solutions work like this. There's an electronic inbox where you can now reroute all those vendor invoices that come to your email box that you can't pull out of a filing cabinet and you can't look for, you don't know where it is. So you start rerouting them by giving your vendor a new email on where they should go. Once they're in this electronic email box, then the technology starts to work for you. The first step is to get the invoices coded into your system. So you would code it. Many invoices have the same thing. They have a date, they have the name of the vendor, they have what you bought, what the amounts are, and where you're going to categorize it. And over time, the machine is going to learn those items, and they're going to pre-populate things for the human eye to review. Now, the advantage of a computer and technology is they're going to start to pre-learn. It's called machine learning, and it's really the early starts of AI. And so it'll know where the date is, the amount, the description of what you bought, and it will start to learn that every time you buy from a certain vendor, the categorization that you want for that vendor. And now you're starting to get a list of unpaid bills. A step that's optional is if you are not going to be the payer of the bills and someone else needs to approve it, there's approval controls that you can add into technology that will talk about that will follow the guidelines of the company. So if there's 2 approvers for a certain dollar amount, you can add those and it reroutes them as they get approved. So that's the next step. Then after everything's approved, you get on a cadence of when you pay your bills. So you do not need to pay bills every week, every day. You need to pay them on Thursdays. You decide that Thursday is your day to pay people. So now you have a process. Bills come in, they get coded till Wednesday. On Thursday, whatever's in there, you consider what needs to be paid or what might be not due yet. So you have the list. In this software, you would check off what needs to be paid. Your bank has already been identified in the system and set up, and you click a button, and it's going to go out the door or out the computer. And so when it goes out the computer, that software is either sending a check or it's sending an ACH payment. Now, in order to get to that step, it takes a little work, and we're going to have the vendors put in their banking information, and that's a great control for you because you don't want their banking information. They're going to log in, put their banking information in, and it is secure. And now if they want to get paid electronically, it'll go electronically. If they want to get paid on a check, they will get sent a check. Now, that is where your accounts payable process is now going to stop. But what you had been doing in the past was now you're going to go to your financial software, you're going to print out a check, you're going to make a copy of the check, you're going to fold the check, put it in an envelope, go find the stamps, someone's going to take it to the post office, and you've spent at least $1.70 for that transaction, per transaction. So depending on how many bills you pay, that is very time consuming and not really added value for the humans to do. That's really what a computer can do. So you have that. Now let's talk about the controls of that. Now everything is already electronically filed in as if it was a filing cabinet, and they're filed by vendor. You can look up who you've paid the vendor, what are the last 5 transactions of the vendor. You can open up, if a vendor's calling you tomorrow and you're like, hey, we executed payment yesterday you can call up at the screenshot and send them the screenshot that shows them where it's tracing their payment and when they will receive it. So those are the steps to get started, to see how it flows through the computer, and then the advantages on the output immediately that save your office time and money when it's going out the door. So let's talk about the benefits that you could see. It takes about 30 days to set up because you're changing or redirecting how your vendors are sending you information. Now you're out of your email. Now someone else, whether it's someone in your office or an outsourced accounting firm, can code those bills for you. Now on Thursday, as we talked about, you're going to go in and you're going to say, yes, I want to pay these, or no, I want to pay, leave those for next week. But you have a running list of exactly what you owed. Now we use QuickBooks Online. All the softwares that we use are complements to that software. And so it will dual sync. And what that dual sync means, if you type in one system, it syncs back to the other system. If you change the address in one system, it syncs over to the other system. And so that is very important. So now your software for managing your accounts payable is in sync with your financial statements, and so they all tie together. And you know your position of expense right away. So how is this advantageous? So during the pandemic, we got a call from a school, and the schools where I live were closed, but all the bills were at the school, and they kept piling up. The weeks went by, the months went by. So we were asked by the CFO to take a look at this software. Would that work for them as a standalone product? And yes, it would. And how are we going to get the bills out of the building and get them started on this new process? Now, the individual who was the accounts payable clerk for like 20 years, that person was not excited about this software. So we compromised and we said, okay, how about if we got them into an inbox first before they went to the software, and she got comfortable with it. She could manage it. She wanted the approvals before she scanned them, and that was going to help her get comfortable with this software. So we've been out of the pandemic about 4 years, something like that. And they're still using the software to their best advantage. They've gotten rid of all the paper. They can better communicate with all of the vendors that a school might have. And they immediately got rid of that, print a check, file a check, get everything out of the storage bins and into the cloud. So that's one example. But the other example is even more exciting, and it's about traveling and being remote. So if you have people that are remote, whether they're in different offices and they need that data, whether they're your tax accountant or your auditor who needs to look at data and pull things for documentation, they can be users all at different security levels. So we had another school actually, and or it was early on. They've been using it about 10 years now. Would you try this? We think this would be a really good solution for your school. They had a really small office. Like, how can we even file any more of this paper? They couldn't hire a new person. Where would that person sit? So yes, we're going to try it out of like maybe need. So they tried it, and schools are often, they're closed in the summertime. And so the finance manager to this day is able to work a couple months in a different country because school is out to still pay all the bills, still follow all those approvals, and still work with the software. So that when she gets back, it's as if she never left. So if you want more information, please check out our website at vilmsconsulting.com. There you'll find a ton of information, but you can also email us at info@vilmsconsulting.com. We're happy to have a conversation with you about how to do forecasting, how to understand your books, and really make you have a successful year.